Hey guys, Ron here. Today it's a foggy day in Venice, California. Venice, so we're about, I don't know, 3-4 miles from the beach, I'd say. This is an exciting one. Normally I don't know, I was going through YouTube, as I always do, and I saw an interview on the old Tonight Show, the real Tonight Show, the good Tonight Show, before it was political late night shows. A guy named Johnny Carson hosted a show, and he had celebrities and authors and of all types, sometimes politicians on, and he would interview them, and they do mix a little comedy in, and he had a little band played during the commercials and a live audience. And Tonight Show was an institution again before it became the late night shows, which are supposed to be comedy and interview shows, suddenly became ridiculously political, which is why I don't watch them. But anyway, on Carson, on the Tonight Show, sometime in the late 80s, Dennis Hopper was on as Carson's guest, and I think it was the only time that Hopper was on. And he was promoting a film that he was in. I think it was actually a TV film that he was in. And he had just directed Colors, a great film with Sean Penn, about a year or two earlier. So I started to look up Dennis Hopper and his various homes. And instead of the Beverly Hills homes like I usually do, his last house was here in Venice. I'm going to show it to you. I wish there wasn't this darn moving van right in front of the main residence, but it's a very interesting story about this house. So this is the last house that Dennis Hopper lived in and died, while he was living here. It went to his estate, and they sold it a year later for $5 million. And then it was bought and then sold again for $5 million, and it's all been up and down since 2011. Well, let's take a look. So the home here, this is very interesting because, I've driven by this and never knew what it was. Probably walked by it. It's sort of near Abbot Kinney, which is Abbot Kinney I filmed for you too. It's a shopping and walking district. But you can also see this. There's all kinds of pictures of this online, so it's not like I'm giving anything away here. You should check it out online. This was also known as the Shed, and I can see they've got security right there, a camera right there out in front. Dennis Hopper was looking for a place in 1981 to mainly do his photography and his art, and he bought the main house, which is a big house. So we'll take a look here. It goes back it's like 4,000 square feet. You can see how they both go back. In 1981, and then he had these two condos designed by the famed architect Frank Gehry. Actually, I believe it was these on this side. Yeah, because they got the same fence afterwards. So basically, it's 15,000 square feet on 3 parcels. And the Shed here, boy, I'd like to get in there. We'd all like to get in there because you can like I said, you can look at pictures online. It's designed like, actually they have an art studio, which I participated in showing my art in, over at Santa Monica Airport, and they use some of the old hangars, and it actually looks like this. And this kind of looks like a hangar inside. Here's somebody walking by on the sidewalk in a minute. So we're going to take a look. So all this land, 15,000 square feet. Let's pause for a minute. Wish this truck wasn't here. This truck with the graffiti on it. I can see a little bit back. Anyway, so Dennis Hopper had this designed, and it was finished 6 years after he bought the main residence. So they're building that for a while. So it really is an artist compound. And like I said, this is known as the Shed, and you can see why. He wanted all this corrugated steel, corrugated metal. And Frank Gehry, like I said, the famed architect, designed the other 2 plots here. Surprising number of cars and street traffic here. And then we have a group of, obviously these are different. From 320 on down, these are different condos here. So, Dennis Hopper, what a fascinating guy. I mean, I think the first time I really saw him or noticed him, I was already a teenager, was Apocalypse Now. I'm just going to show you. And Apocalypse Now, I had a friend in high school who was in drama with me at the time, who probably a lot like Dennis Hopper, used a lot of drugs, as Dennis Hopper was doing at the time, and really a spaced out guy like Hopper was at the time. And look at all that. Wow, look at down here. I just want to show you this. I got razor wire and a lot of graffiti down there at the end. And that's Venice for you. Anyway, so the guy, my friend, he pulled me behind. Literally, he said, "Have you seen Apocalypse Now yet?" And I said, "No." I mean, in fact, with the rating, I probably needed a quote-unquote adult to take me there. I don't think I could have got a ticket on my own. And he pulled me behind the building, pulled me behind the drama building to tell me. And he goes, "I got to tell you, it's mind-fucking." So, okay. So eventually I saw it, and Hopper was perfect for his part there. But Dennis Hopper was a really amazing Renaissance man. He was born in Kansas. I'm going to show you the place again. He was born in Kansas, and the family moved when he was a teenager to San Diego. And he was very involved, as I was, in high school in theater and art. And he went on to, actually he was voted most likely to succeed at his high school in San Diego. He went on to study at the Old Globe Theater, and then he studied for 5 years at the Strasberg studio. In fact, I believe Lee Strasberg was his teacher at the Actors Studio in New York. And, you know, he's in Rebel Without a Cause in the 50s films. He knew James Dean. I mean, what a spectacular start to a career, huh? And then did TV, and in 1969, he did Easy Rider. He directed it. His partner, Peter Fonda, produced it. He co-wrote it with Terry Southern. And it was a huge breakout hit, and it was really the beginning, you know, of the independent filmmakers. Okay, well, these are all fenced together, so this must be condo number 1 right here next to the shed. It's on the same property. See how far back it goes there? Just wish that truck wasn't there. There's a window, so the shed is at least 2-story because we see a window up there. Anyway, now as the 60s became the 70s, and even through the 60s, Dennis Hopper's drug use, alcohol consumption was to the point where he was already not being cast in films. He was known as unreliable. He was difficult. Like I said, he was a substance user and abuser. So his acting career was starting to dry up. That was another reason he was so happy to get the part in Apocalypse Now in '79. But during that time, he started to really focus on his photography more because he couldn't get the acting gigs. And he was a really great photographer and shown all over LA and all over worldwide, his photography. And that's part of why he wanted to buy this property, so he could have his artist friend do his own art and have other art installed there. And it sounds like an artist's dream come true. When you've got that kind of money, you can do it. Later he got clean and sober. Like I said, he directed Colors, and he directed a couple other films, and it was quite a great career. He switched from Democrat to being kind of a staunch Republican, which is something because he was such a hippie in the 60s. And yeah, just a really great Renaissance man, Dennis Hopper. Like I said, his estate sold the house a year after he died for $5 million. He bought it, I don't even remember what he paid in 1981, but it wasn't much. And I would imagine that they must have knocked down a house to put it up there. Interesting, because it doesn't look, none of this looks like Frank Gehry type design, but it is. And the other artists that help him design and build this were they are big. I know them because I know of them. Let's say I haven't met them personally, but they're big in the LA art scene, which is its own little, micro universe. So that's it, guys. The shed. Like I said, you can look up more online because it is almost like a historic monument, even though Dennis Hopper hasn't lived here, has been deceased for over 10 years now. But anyway, that's it in Venice, California. So I'm excited. I really was looking forward to doing that one. Okay guys, well my name is Ron. If you like the channel, please subscribe. There it is in the back. If you do subscribe, hit the little bell icon next to the subscription button and you'll be notified when I post. Please give me likes because that's how we move through the algorithm of YouTube. And I think I better go home, put some pants on. See the shorts? It's cold, it's foggy, and it's April already. Alright guys, we'll see you at the next location. Thank you. Bye-bye.